Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to one of the greatest video games of all time, The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Now, with a surprise remaster of this game releasing just about any day now, I felt that it would be a good idea to show off the last great exploit that is hidden well in the depths of Oblivion. Oblivion is one of those great Bethesda games where all of the NPCs have innate comedic timing, hilarious DLC practices, and more bugs than a tropical jungle. All of this combines into a game that was perfectly imperfect. Now, in the past, I've abused the game's bugs and glitches to create laughably broken characters. We made an invisible character that physically can't be detected by the game's AI. We made Elon Husk, a soulless god with near infinite stats. And most recently, Susan, a woman who just reflects 100% of all damage they receive. But today, we're diving deep into the game's code to show off an exploit that has been lost to time itself. It's surprisingly simple, hilariously overpowered, and of course, exceedingly mysterious. So grab yourselves a nice warm cup of tea, give the video a like, as we're about to find out if Todd Howard made Oblivion a perfectly balanced game. Right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, into the character creator of Oblivion, famously one of the most normal and least cursed character creators in all video. Now, we're going to be naming our character Juan Punch because our goal is to create a hero similar to that from the anime whose abilities allow them to just quite simply Juan Punch an enemy to death. That means we must create an intimidating and powerful face that's definitely normal and human looking. I've already just created something that's an abomination, haven't I? Okay, right, we'll just randomize it. There we go. We'll get something normal with that. Oh yes, I love this nose already. We're doing fantastic. Yep, we've reached alien stage of the Oblivion character creator. Oh my god. The sliders, do you want small forehead or do you want Galacta-brain? Looks like our character's trying to, withhold a fart and they've just basically puckered their entire body. There's no other way I could describe it. Right, so ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be our hero today, Juan Punch, who for the first time ever has an inverted mouth. I've never seen it in the Oblivion character creator. Oh, you're so disgusting. Right, let's play the game. Oh, are you sure you want to be a high elf? Yes, I actually do. This is the one redeeming necessary thing that we needed before we could exploit the game. And yeah, it's safe to say we look fantastic. My goodness. Now this is the hero you want to have solving the Oblivion crisis. Now, there are a few reasons why you'd want to play as a high elf in comparison to the other races of Skyrim. For example, you play as the tallest race of the game, meaning you actually have a 10% faster run speed than the average Imperial. That's pretty useful indeed. Now, as we can see at the start of the game, our lovely Juan Punch begins with hardly anything. We have pathetic levels of strength, a relatively average intelligence, some willpower, some agility, some speed, bit of endurance, not much of a personality, and an acceptable quantity of luck. What this results in is us having only 80 health, 200 magic, and 150 fatigue. Fatigue is basically stamina, and it's the main thing we're going to be focusing on today. Right, anyway, let's meet the Emperor and see if we can help him with his adventure. I'm a big fan.
You are the one from my dreams.
I apologize if I'm from your dreams, my goodness. So basically, the Emperor's sons have been assassinated by an evil cult trying to summon an evil god into this world, and the Emperor is next up on the chopping block, meaning he's not long for this world, and we're going to join him as he tries to escape his own city. Now, this is a bit of a lucky day, and of course, like all good Elder Scrolls games, it starts with us being in prison, and unlike Skyrim, we aren't saved by a dragon Deus Ex Machina-ing us out of the way. We're instead saved by the Emperor himself using a secret escape hatch. Right, anyway, we're starting to escape, and oh no! Here come some assassins to kill the Emperor. I can't believe it. Luckily for me, I can cast Fireball on them. Yeah, take that. And oh no, Captain Renault died. Oh, what a shame. Yeah, these mythic Dawn assassins have unfortunately claimed another life. Now, we get told to stay behind and not follow, but it's okay because we're about to be freed by a rat for a wall. Yeah, goodbye, rat. And another rat comes. Oh, goodbye, Mr. Rat. I love the way their little bodies wiggle. And this now puts us in the tutorial adventure dungeon section. From here, we're meant to run around and fight some goblins and skeletons before eventually making our way out. We get introduced to our first set of armor. We even get introduced to the lockpicking minigame, which is terrible and I hate it. And of course, if you're feeling like you want an incredibly masochistic way of playing the game, then why not use the rusty iron bow and arrows you find? Yes, Oblivion was released before Todd Howard decided we should all be playing stealth archers, and as a result, archery is quite possibly one of the most boring ways to play the game. Anyway, we're simply going to run our way out of here. We're going to blow up some rats on the way, and even blow up this zombie. So with the remake coming out soon, this is a good time to talk about what made Oblivion so special. Of course it had similarities to Skyrim, but this game truly rewarded player creativity. If you could imagine a weird spell combination, then you could make it. Most sandbox RPGs give a player tools, but still railroad the game into certain playstyles. Oblivion had no such limits, and that lets dastardly Brits like myself create some very funny unintended shenanigans. And of course you're going to be seeing a lot of that today. Anyway, we're going to rejoin with the Emperor, and he's going to give us a star sign, which is very fun. Hello there, Emperor!
The skies are marked with numberless sparks.
Now, when it comes to the star sign you can pick up, there's some great options in this game. However, for this particular exploit, you need to be careful. You don't want to pick up any skill that boosts strength, endurance, agility, or willpower. Now, because of a strategy we're going to be using later, we're going to pick up the Atronac. This means that we don't regain magicka over time, which is definitely a bit of a downside, but in turn you absorb 50% of any magic spell shot at you and gain a bit of extra maximum mana. Now, one of the fun things that I've always kind of enjoyed about Oblivion's storyline is that whilst our hero is kind of a little bit of a chosen one character, the main story definitely focuses on you actually finding the true chosen one and then leading him on the path to save the world, which is pretty cool indeed. Of course, along the way it is expected that you, the player, become horrifically overpowered. One of my favorite ways to cheese the game is just its leveling system. You level up by doing certain actions. For example, just jumping will give you acrobatics experience. So one of the standard cheeses of this game is to just simply jump up and down against the wall, like you're in some kind of rave, and then eventually over time you'll somehow transform yourself into Simone Biles. Okay, now what's going to happen here is we get told to stay behind with the Emperor, but unfortunately he is going to be murdered. There's not much we can do. Yeah, the assassins are coming. But before his death, he's going to tell us something important.
Take the amulet. Give it to Joffrey. He alone knows where to find my last son.
However, I am going to try and do my best to save Emperor Uriel Septim here. Yes, I think one of the smartest things we can do is we could make him a smaller target to hit for the enemy assassin. There we go. Right, I've set his scale to be 0.3. Now he's down there. I don't think the assassin's going to be able to get him. No, he did! How could you? You killed the Emperor! No, the Emperor is dead! My goodness. He's turned into a noodle. He turned into a noodle boy. Barrius, what do we do? The Emperor's become spaghetti. Anyway, we can fill Barrius in and say that, hey, the Emperor gave us the amulet and told him to find his son. Now, we're going to be expected to pick our class here, and there's a few options we can go for. Now, we're going to create a custom class, of course, that is going to be mage-focused. We want to choose 2 favored attributes. For this exploit, we won't be picking strength, willpower, agility, or endurance. Instead, we'll go for luck, which just affects everything, and we'll pick up intelligence for some mega brainy powers. Now, this is going to be the Wimpus class, a very unique class indeed. For our goal is to create an incredibly wimpy character who is going to be able to one-shot everything. Right, let us play as the Wimpus. This actually gives us a huge amount of additional spells that we can mess about with, like, say, detecting life, dispelling magic, doing frost damage. All of this stuff is very cool indeed. Or alternatively, I can just use my Goblin Shaman staff instead of using actual magic. The staff is basically just a goblin's head on a stick, and it works as a taser, which means it's a fantastic weapon, of course. Look, go, taser, go! Well, we threw that rat into the water. Oh, poor ratters. And here we go. We've successfully escaped from the game's tutorial. We are now finally ready to adventure in the world of Welcome to the lovely landscape of Oblivion. This is quite an iconic site. I mean, it's so iconic. It's even the main screenshot that was leaked about the game's new remake. And yeah, I kind of love it. And oh, is that already a mudcrab? Hello there, Mr. Mudcrab. Please die. Goodbye, sir. Perfect. Why do you have a fork on you? Distinguished mud crab using cutlery. But yes, this game is kind of fantastic. It's always managed to maintain its beautiful hook of just wanting you to continue exploring in this landscape, which is very nice indeed. Now, in order to achieve our one-punch build, we actually need to lower our stats, which is something that no Oblivion player would ever logically do. I mean, why would you want to actually make yourself weaker? Why would you want to lower your willpower? Especially considering that willpower determines how much magic you can regenerate. Well, seeing as I have the Atronac Stone, I'd never generate magic anyways, so setting it to 0 isn't really going to bother me. But as willpower also affects your fatigue, which in turn ties into how much damage you do, we can exploit this to do a ridiculous amount of damage. So our first step is to find something to permanently lower our willpower. Now, of course, there are various potions and effects and diseases in the game that can lower your statistics, but there's also just alchemical ingredients that can lower it. But alchemy ingredients cost money, and we don't really have any of that just yet. I've got 46 septims in the bank, and that's hardly enough to get things rolling. I need cash in order to buy a few key ingredients and, most importantly, some magical spells. Now, we could play the game the way the developers intended and go about doing some quests for some money. Yep, all of that's pretty cool. However, it actually makes far more sense for us to cheese this game's economy, and so that's exactly what we're going to do, as we're going to use the magical power of duplication glitches in order to make us all the money we're ever going to need. So into the Mystic Emporium we go, where we can talk to the glorious Calandil here. He's got a fantastic hairline, my goodness. Now this gentleman is very good because he sells various scrolls, and we can use these scrolls to do some cheeky things. So let us buy 2 frenzy scrolls from him. There we go. They cost 8 gold each. There goes some of our money, and that's fantastic. What we can then do with these scrolls is have them selected in our inventory and then shift drop a different item on the floor, which will cause it to become 2 items. So there we go. We now have 2 flashbolts. We can click on the frenzy again and drop the chameleon. And there we go, 2 chameleon spells. Isn't that great? Are you two going to have a conversation? Wow, look at that incredible animated hand movements. Whoa, groundbreaking for the age. Okay, now I've been doing this exploit for just a little while. Oh my goodness, look at all of the scrolls I'm getting. Okay, and once again, we're just duping our way up in the world. There we go. We now have ourselves 32 chameleon scrolls. Now we're going to have ourselves probably about 40-something frenzy scrolls as well. Okay, now I'm going to make myself 51 chameleon scrolls out of thin air. There we go. Yep, the game is actually surprisingly handling all of this very well. You can take this exploit to its logical extremes and duplicate, say, 4,000 watermelons. But in my case, we just need a little bit of extra cash. We're going to sell probably about 24 of them, and that should give us, yep, 672 gold. Perfect. I think that should be about as much money as we need. Next up, we're going to need to grab ourselves a couple of ingredients. We're going to need these ingredients for some alchemy. So it's over to the main ingredient shop we go to have a chat with the wonderful Ogier Georg here. Hello there. Now, this gentleman sells something very useful. The Elf Cup Cap. It's a little mushroomy thing that, yes, you can find in the wilderness and landscape of the world, but alternatively, you can just buy it from this man for 9 gold. So we're going to buy 4 of them.
Be seeing you.
Fantastic. That is half of the ingredients we're going to need. Now, what we're going to then do is fast travel to the Imperial City waterfront. And instead of actually staying here and interacting with the locals, we have ourselves a very important target. Literally just in a straight line in this direction, we're going to be able to find ourselves a pub. And inside of the pub is one of the rarest alchemical ingredients in the entire game. There's only about 6 spawns of it on the entire world map, and unlike others, they don't refresh. It basically means you have to exploit the game in order to actually use it, and I take that as a sign as Todd Howard personally wanting us to cheese things. You can tell it's quite a classy establishment because the bar staff sleep behind the bar on a singular bed.
Well.
And here we go. Inside of the pub, that lovely bar staff, Abhuki, actually sells this ingredient. It is a root pulp. It's a seemingly useless ingredient, seeing as it just cures disease and damages willpower, but for our purposes, it's absolutely perfect. So, thank you very much, Abhuki. You've given us the world. For now, we have the alchemical ingredients we need to craft something magical. By combining the lovely root pulp with the Elf Cup Cap, we're able to create a potion of cure disease. Now, as this has a positive effect, we as the player are allowed to actually consume it, even though it also comes with the negative side effect of damaging our willpower. So we need to, of course, name this potion after something that damages one's will to live. So I'm going to be naming this potion the Condensed Hawk Tua. There we go, fantastic, we've created it. A potion designed to perfectly destroy one's will to live. And then of course, because we can duplicate any item inside of our inventory, what we're going to do is find ourselves our lovely scrolls, select 51 frenzy scrolls, drop the condensed hawk tour on the ground, and would you look at that, there's suddenly 50 condensed hawk tours rolling everywhere. Come back here, hawk tours. Please, I need you to melt my brain. Thank you. There we go. We now have 30 condensed hawk tours. That should probably be enough. Right, now this is fantastic, as we're now going to be able to lower our fatigue by basically chugging condensed hawk tour. The way this works is we're going to be damaging our willpower. So quite simply, I'm going to go into my inventory, drink this, which the game is going to allow me to do because it's seemingly positive, and that has damaged my willpower by 1 point. However, this is also a status effect that happens over time. For every second, we'll lose 1 willpower. And so after 4 seconds, there we go, we're down to 36 willpower. We can then drink another condensed hawk tour potion. This once again lowers our willpower, now down to 32. And you'll notice that our fatigue has also dropped. It used to be 150, now it's 142. So I'm just going to repeatedly hawk tour myself until my character loses the will to live. Right, so after drinking enough of those potions, our willpower is now down to 0, which is pretty good, as it has dropped our fatigue to 110. Now, the damage you do in this game is partly calculated based on your fatigue. If you've done an action like run, jump, or swing a sword, your fatigue will be below its maximum, and if you attack without a full fatigue bar, you'll only do a fraction of your maximum damage. Swing a sword at your maximum fatigue and you'll do your normal 100% hit. But if you find a way to increase your fatigue above its base maximum with something like a potion or a spell, then you'll actually be doing more than your base damage. This is tied to the relativity of how much extra fatigue you have in comparison to your maximum. So we need to find a way to lower our willpower even further so that our base fatigue is as low as it can be. You see, the game normally wouldn't let you achieve a negative score of willpower. All stats in the game basically bottom out at 0, but if we're able to temporarily raise our willpower, we can then drink another potion and lower it even further beyond. If only there was a spell that could let us temporarily raise our fatigue. Now, we've made our way over to Anvil for one very important reason. We're here to join the Mages College. Yay! It's a lovely little faction where all of the best mages of the land are welcome. And in this particular Mages Guild, we have Forian. He's great. He's managed to tame an imp. It's Sparky. He's really cute. I mean, he kind of looks like a grumpy old man, but, you know, he's called Sparky, so he's adorable. Anyway, Forian.
I greet you.
He's fantastic because he sells various important spells. He's the only merchant in the game to sell almost all of the absorb skills in this entire game's catalogue. So yes, we're going to buy the absorb willpower spell for 74 gold. Thank you very much. So there we go, that was the spell we needed. Fantastic. So all we need to do is find someone who wouldn't be upset with us absorbing their willpower and using it to fortify our own skills temporarily. So we can then drink our condensed hawk tour and lower our willpower to below 0. Now, you might struggle to find such a willing subject on the world map, and that's why we're not going to find a willing subject. These are the worshippers of the god of Peryite. Now, they appear to be frozen in time and mindless, and none of them move or speak, and of course we must be level 10 to begin this quest, so yeah, we can't do that. I mean, look at these poor guys, they're just not having a great time. But thankfully, as they are frozen in time and space and unable to react to us, we can do whatever we like to them and they can't respond. So this is where the fun begins. So what we're going to do is throw our stats into the negative. Using lovely Karen here, we're going to need to equip the spell to absorb willpower. For you see, at the moment, at 0 willpower, we could drink another condensed hawk tour, but it wouldn't actually lower our stats at all. We need at least one attribute before that can take effect. So what we're going to do is cast our lovely spell to absorb skill from Karen. This will raise our willpower to 5. This spell is only going to last 20 seconds though. Still, that's all the time we need. So we're going to drink one condensed hawk tour, which will lower my willpower by 4. Then once that's finished, I will drink another one. This has lowered my willpower back down to 0. And all we need to do is wait a few seconds for the absorb skill spell to actually end, and there we go. Now that it has ended, you'll notice that my willpower is at -5. Hang on a second, that's a negative skill. Todd, I shouldn't be able to do that, should I? So what do we do from here? Well, quite simply, we cast the spell again. By casting to absorb his willpower, we go back up to 0. We can then cast it on this gentleman over here, and now we're up to a willpower of 5. That's great. We can then once again drink the condensed hawk tour, and again, and then wait for this spell to end. Now there's just one minor problem with this exploit, and that is that there is technically a limit with how far we can take it. If you see, we are currently at minus 10 willpower, but when I cast the drain willpower spell on all of these people here, I'm only able to go back up to 0 willpower because my spell isn't really that powerful. This means that if I were to then drink a potion of condensed hawk tour, which damages my willpower, as you can see it is still currently sat at 0, so when this spell inevitably is broken after 20 seconds, we'll see that my willpower has in fact not dropped below 10. This is just a limit with the spell that I've created, and as a result, in order to pull off this exploit, we're going to need to craft a spell that's even more powerful. And so for that, we need to take a visit to Frostcrag Spire. This is a random building in the middle of nowhere, which for some reason we've been given. It's part of the DLC, okay? Look, it's here. So yes, we're going to run up here and make this little mountain home ours. So we can open up the door with our key, and I mean, look at how fun and magical it is. We can open up this doorway and huzzah! Look! It's our little home. And inside of it, we have the Altar of Enchanting, which you can use to make custom enchantments, Atronak Altar, which you can use for some incredible summoned companions, and the Altar of Spell Making, which if we have some mage tallow candles will allow us to make our very own spells. So let's make our way back into the city to buy some mage tallow candles.
What can I do for you?
Oriolandway over here is the merchant who we need to deal with, and she sells the mage tallow candles. The problem is she sells them for 3,000 gold. I do not have 3,000 gold. What do you like the look of in my inventory? Potion of healing? Okay, well, I've got some great news for you. I'm about to make a lot of potions of healing. First, I select my 58 chameleon spells, and then I click on the potion of healing, and huzzah! 50 potions of healing! Some would call this an inflationary market practice. To those people, I would say, yes! And there we go. After selling our potions of healing, I now have 3,600 gold, which should now hopefully be enough for me to buy the Mage Tallow Candles box. Yes, there we go. So with that extra money, we're going to actually run across the street and go into Edgar's discount spells.
Yes?
Edgar's great because he actually sells some relatively okay spells. Some of them are pretty terrible, I won't lie. I mean, who wants to cast Snowball? That just sounds pathetic. But instead, you do have the Greater Fortify Fatigue and the Fortify Fatigue spells, both of which will be very valuable to us. So I'll be stealing both of those.
Goodbye.
So fantastic. I can now travel back to my lovely spire. We're going to be able to make ourselves the spell we want. I mean, we can even make our own Fortify Fatigue spells, like this bad boy that will Fortify Fatigue by 100 on self for 10 seconds. Why not? Let's make it. I'll call this one Vim for giving us a bit of extra punch. So there we go, we've made ourselves a new spell. Now we're going to want to make our own Absorb Willpower spell with a magnitude of about 50 in a range of 10 feet and a duration of about 5 seconds. That should do nicely. And there we go, we can now create the Will Suck spell. Now let's go actually put it into use. Now that we're back here, we want to get all of these lovely worshippers into the same location by just nudging them into one another. Come on, stand close together. I want to maximize the benefit of my spell power. There we go. Now that they're all standing within 10 feet of each other, if I were to cast my Will Suck spell, we're going to absorb 60 points of willpower from everyone in a 10-foot radius for 5 seconds. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We cast this spell, we immediately drain the willpower of everyone around us, and you'll notice we now have 186 willpower. Wow, that's huge. That's taken our fatigue up to 296. And because we now have above 0 willpower, we're going to be able to drink our poison again. So I'm going to drink some condensed hawk tour. And there we go. After our absorb willpower spell fades, you'll notice we're now down to minus 22 willpower. Wow, that's even more negative. So we're going to cast the spell again. I'm then going to drink some more condensed hawk tour juice. And would you look at that, it's now minus 34 willpower. Right, I'm going to need to dupe a few more hawk tours. I never thought I was going to have to say that ever in my entire life. This is my job. This is my job. How am I meant to explain this to someone? I don't think I can leave the country. You know, when an immigration lawyer asks what you do, and it's like, oh, well, I spent, 40 hours in Oblivion creating the worst character build. They just wouldn't get it. And lovely, we are now down to minus 97 willpower, which gives us a total fatigue of 13. I don't know, I guess when it comes to attacking, we can do about half of one swing, and there we go, that's about it. Can I jump? Yeah, I can jump, and then look at my stamina bar. It's going up at like 1 frame a second. I'm just going to do this one more time. Let's condense Hawk Tour ourselves down even further. And there we go. We've achieved, oh dear, a problem, a minor problem, as I've gone to -3 fatigue. Right. So in a state of -3 fatigue, I can no longer move because I'm on the ground. So let me quickly cast Fortify Fatigue. Oh, I can't because I'm down on the ground. Right, I've realized a minor problem with what I've done here. I need to get myself just a little bit of fatigue back. Let me drink that weak fatigue potion. What does that do? That does nothing. Okay, I've hawk too close to the sun. I need to lower my stats, but not that low. We can't achieve negative fatigue, else then we can no longer move. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have done it. I have achieved peak perfection. After consuming just the right quantity of Hawk Tour potions, I have managed to drop my willpower to -109. Yes, we've done it. We've achieved a fatigue of 1. That's right. We have the lowest possible amount of fatigue in the game that still allows us to move around. But in front of us is something very interesting. We have ourselves a rat. So what we're going to do is actually test out our damage. I'm going to hit the rat with my sword, and as you can see, it takes a little bit of damage, and after 3 swings, he dies. That's pretty decent. But what if instead I queue up a different spell? What if I queue up a little bit of Fortify Fatigue? Yes, this spell here. For 7 mana, I can give myself 25 points of fatigue temporarily for 45 seconds. So I'll cast this spell, and suddenly you'll notice that my fatigue is now 26 out of 26, and it's green. And now when I hit the rat, oh, he's dead in 1 shot. That's because I just did 26 times my base damage. Oh, this game. Oh, yes, Todd, you've done it again. I've made another god. It's One Punch. Ah, One Punch is here to save the day. And by that I mean we're going to turn him into a mass murdering killer. Yay! Oh, oopsies. I accidentally fell over on a rock. Okay, that is one of the problems we have whilst running around is if we're in the air whilst our Fortified Fatigue spell is active, we will just faceplant into things, which I guess can lead to glorious comedic timings. Anyway, Splendid, I'm now going to take myself over to some kind of dangerous environment. Yes! Right, I've got the perfect test of our strength. We're going to make our way over to Battlehorn Castle, where the defenders are currently being besieged by marauders and appealing for aid. Apparently their commander has been killed and they're offering the castle itself to anyone who can lift the siege. I mean, that sounds really quite desperate, my goodness. Imagine you're losing a siege that badly. You're just like, come over here and we'll give you the castle. Oh, look at these 2 guys running over. Is that a wolf? That's a wolf. It's a wolf enemy. I thought I was like, oh, look, friendly. Oh, dear, wolves actually have a huge amount of health. Right, I'm going to have to cast my Fortify Fatigue spell, and there we go. 2 hits and the wolf is dead. Now, the reason we still didn't kill that wolf in 1 hit is because I'm using literally the most basic weapon in the game. This is a steel short sword. It does a damage of 1. I really also don't have any good skills. When it comes to blade, I'm level 6. That's about as terrible as you can get. So the fact that even then it only takes me 2 hits to kill a wolf, that's surprisingly good. But yes, any superior weapon we get, even if it's just an extra 2 damage, well, suddenly that will be massive. Well, hello, where you just spooked me, my goodness, woman. Oh, woman, watch out, there's a bandit. Hello, I'm going to actually be borrowing that weapon of yours, sir, after I kill you. Come back here, bandit. There we go, 2 hits. What have you got? You have a lockpick and you dropped your axe. An iron works, it also is just 1 damage. Can someone please give me a weapon that does more than 1 damage? Right, now I've got my lovely spell equipped. I can clearly see some dangerous enemies. Let's charge in and save the day. Oh, I fell over on a rock. Okay, now let's charge in and save the day. Just forget that happened. Right, hello there, evil bandits. Huzzah, I can hit you. No, get back here. Oh, surprisingly, I mean, I'm doing okay, but I'm actually going to die here, aren't I? Oh dear, yep, I've been murdered. Well, I think I've learned something here. My Fortify Fatigue by 25 point spell is pretty good, but it could be better. Yes, I can use my Vim spell instead to fortify my fatigue by 100 points. This will now boost our damage output by 100 times, meaning instead of our pathetic sword hitting for 1 damage, it can now hit for 100 damage, thus allowing us to truly become One Punch Man. So let me cast my spell and come on, whack, you're dead. Come here. No, get back here, Mr. Mage. Come here, Mage. Punch, you're dead. Oh, don't you come swinging that at me. Punch, you're dead. And who are you? Marauder Warlord, you're dead as well. Lovely. We just one-hit everyone. Oh, an Iron Claymore. That'll be a better weapon for me. It's got a longer reach. Oh, there we go. Hello.
But I thank you for risking your own life to help us.
There we go. We are now the brand new master of the castle. Isn't that great? I mean, this was surprisingly easy. Literally just come in and they give you a castle for killing like 4 people. Not exactly a challenge, is it? Alright, so now that I've secured myself a fancy castle to live in and a slightly better weapon, I think it's time I set about achieving my ultimate goal. I want to kill 2 of this game's hardest enemies. I want to kill the final boss of the game in the form of Dagon himself, but on top of that I also want to kill Umuril, who is an absolutely nightmarish godlike character that you fight at the end of one of this game's DLC questlines. So yes, if we intend to slay 2 of this game's final bosses, we're going to need a slightly better weapon. So for that reason I've decided to make my way back to the Imperial City because I want to slay one of this game's hardest early fights. I want to kill Umbra. And most players try and fight her in a way that cheeses her. I know many a person who just simply kites her back to your closest Imperial City guard and have 8 of them fight her. But no, in my case, I intend to fight her fairly, and by that I mean stack a huge amount of modifiers and let Juan Punch here literally Juan Punch her. But first we have to deal with 2 random bandits who are just loitering around here. So I'm going to cast my Fortify Fatigue spell, and then, oh, suddenly, yeah, my magic arrows just one-hit everyone we run into. So yep, let me fortify my fatigue and yeet. There we go, we did it! Huzzah! I'm great at combat. Right, let's go find Umbra. Oh dear, there's another bandit. Go away, sir! There we go, you've died. Tragedy. Oh, there's clearly another bandit down there. Right, let me just quickly prep an arrow and yeet. There we go, they're dead. Oh my goodness. We've got some other enemies over there, so yeet. There we go, that's 1 person dead. Is there 1 more of them? Come on, come around here. Oh dear, oh my goodness, my fatigue spell ran out and I accidentally just got... I don't even know what that was. I've no explanation for what I just experienced. Okay, there's still another enemy down there. Yeet, there we go, they're dead. Oh, hello, sir. Hello, Mr. Bandit Ringleader. Goodbye, Bandit Ringleader. You drop ham. Thanks for the ham, Mr. Bandit Man. Oh dear, we got a Skelly Archer. Okay, I need to be careful because, ow, he did a lot of damage to me, but he's dead. Oh dear, that gentleman certainly looks dangerous. Oh my goodness, you just summoned a skeleton. Goodbye, evil necromancer. You took 2 hits. Oh my goodness. And is that genuinely this rune completed? I was here to try and find Umbra, and I guess I've wandered into the wrong place. Yeah, I most definitely have. Yeah, I'm instead hunting for the eluded rune that is named after Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's greatest rival. It is the Vindazel ruin, which is located literally just off in that direction. Yeah, it should be around about over here, and then we'll be able to go and find her. So even though we did go through 1 ruin and we killed an evil necromancer and probably saved the lives of loads of people, I don't care. I'm after a fancy weapon, thank you very much. I don't care how many people I accidentally save along the way. I'm not doing it for them. Juan Punch is doing it for himself. We have no willpower, which means we have no will to become a hero. We just happen to be the strongest being in this universe. Although I am slightly embarrassed by the fact that the last final boss took 2 hits to kill. I think we need to get rid of our bow and arrow and instead switch to the more powerful claymore. Alright, let's go into Vindazel door. Come on, yeah, there we go. Let's enter the door whilst falling around on the floor, and that has broken the game. Okay, we're falling through the world. Do not open doorways when you are not in touch with the floor. Yeah, that was a bad decision. Now we are stuck in this. Oh, it's nice to know that after all these years, you are still always playing Oblivion. I'll drop down a quick save this time. Into Vindazel we go. We'll explore his cavernous openings. Actually, I don't recommend exploring Vindazel's cavernous openings. I suppose we can see how good we are without our spell. Oh my goodness, we're not good because I accidentally fell into a trap. Hello there, rats. Rats, surprisingly still dangerous enemies. They take 2 hits. Mud crabs, they also take a lot of hits. I will say there is actually an advantage from being set at just having 1 fatigue. That is that in order to do an attack, I have to be back at my maximum fatigue, which means I never hit for anything less than 100%, which is actually pretty good. And here we go. It is Umbra. One of the most dangerous and frustrating early game enemies to try and fight. We are now going to 1v1 her using this pathetic level 1 claymore. Bearing in mind we are level 1, we are of the Whimpers class, we have negative 100 will to live, and a blade skill that could probably be bested by a toddler wielding a pair of safety scissors. Still, we're going to challenge her to a fight. So I'm going to cast my magical spell and whack. Oh my goodness, she still has health. Oh dear, this is bad. This is very bad. She's murdered me. Well, that's a problem. Yeah, it seems that even though I'm doing 100% more damage, 100% more damage when you still are genuinely terrible is still not very good. Alright, okay, we're going to give this another go. I'm going to crouch on down. I'm going to cast my Greater Fortify of Fatigue. We're going to do a stealth attack. We're going to do a big hit. And there we go. Sneak attack for 1 times damage. Unfortunately, we've still died in 2 hits. Right. Yeah, I suppose we are still a level 1 player. And if we can't defeat Umbra, we stand absolutely no chance against the final bosses of this game. So let's try and boost up our power. Okay, so we need a better sword. We need the Honor Blade of Coral, a special item that you can pick up in the Sins of the Father quest. The only problem is in order to unlock that quest, we need to do 2 other quests first. Now, I could show you the riveting questline of reuniting a family and reclaiming their lands, but instead, I think we should use a different medium to tell the tale, like music. A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Jermaine, Gilbert Germain. Let's find your brother just because we can. Okay, turns out for DMCA reasons, we cannot continue the coverage of these quests via the medium of musicals. So instead, let me explain the second quest, Legacy Lost, with a poem. Roses are red, violets are blue, I have a quest and so must kill you. And after slaying some ogres and escorting the brothers to their family farm, we've completed the second quest. And now we almost have that sword that we need in order to win a fight so that I can get an even slightly better sword. Yeah, video games. Final quest time. Say hello to Sins of the Father, where we'll just read the Wikipedia quest summary. Wait 2 in-game days. Talk to Favis Ulez at the Oaken Crossier Inn. Go to the Redguard Valley Cave. Defeat the ogres and take the Honor Blade of Coral. You can either return the blade to Leigh Varric or sell it to Favis Ulez. Of course, we will not be returning the blade to anyone, as I want to use it for my hijinks. Perfect. We now have a sword that can do 4 damage. Oh god. It's still terrible, but it's actually better. Even though this is technically only 2 more damage, you have to remember that we're multiplying all of our damage by high quantities. So an increase of 2 isn't an increase of 2 damage, it's more like an increase of 100. Right, so with a weapon that does additional damage relative to our existing one, we're already in a better stage. But even so, I realize that we can actually stack multiple spells affecting us at the same time. So I'm going to go back into the Frostcrag Spire, and we're going to make ourselves 2 brand new spells. And this time have this one last for about 30 seconds. Then we're going to make another one that will boost us by 99 and have this one last for about 25 seconds. Fantastic, and just like that, we have 2 brand new spells. So let me quickly equip these spells. I'll press 1 to equip the first spell, I'll press 2 to equip the second spell, and has that worked? Yep, my fatigue is now currently at 200. That is, of course, a fair bit better than the 0 it's meant to be at. Right, now this is it. We are now finally ready to slay Umbra. So I'm going to cast my first spell, then I'll cast my second spell. So with 200 fatigue, I should now be doing significantly more damage. And now when we hit Umbra, yes, come on, yes, wham, come on, no! I almost had it! She was on a sliver of health! Okay, we can do it. It just takes us 3 hits. So I need to make sure those 3 hits actually land. So there we go. Equip our spells and let's go. Come on. There we go. Come on. Yes, we did it! And with that, we can steal her sword, Umbra, as well as all of her actual fancy armor. Thank you very much. Now I can actually deck myself out and look relatively swanky. Yeah, look at that. No longer am I looking like Mr. Plebus. I mean, I can't move around because I'm over encumbered, but hey, if I take off the heavy boots and the heavy body armor and, what else? I guess you're also heavy. The greaves can go. Can I actually even wear any of this? It's all very heavy, right? I can drop that. Okay, I can wear the helmet and that's it. That's enough for me not to become over encumbered. And there we go. We get ourselves a brand new sword in the form of Umbra, which now gives us 5 damage we can do. Fantastic. There we go. Progress. We are ranking our way up in the world. Right, let's leave this dungeon and now go see if we can kill God. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I've done some additional preparation and I am now ready to kill God. To be specific, Mehrunes Dagon. We are Juan Punch, Juan Man with Juan Dream and Juan Sword, and Juan Loincloth, ready to defeat literally a god. Now, of course, we have no willpower. We are only level 1. We are tiny in comparison to this insanely nightmarish enemy. He might be level 100. He might have 1000 base health, but I am stronger, for I have fortified my fatigue so much that I am unstoppable. I've made a few more spells. The 98 fat, which gives me 98 fatigue points, and the 91 fart because I had a typo, which gives me an additional 91 points of fatigue. Combining all of them, I can reach around about 360 fatigue, meaning I'm 368 fatigue points over my supposed maximum limit of 1, giving me massive quantities of extra damage. We now also have Umbra on our side, raising our base attack power up to 5. It might not seem like much, but with this many modifiers, it's going to be good. So with my sword equipped, I'm going to cycle through all of my spells and boost up my fatigue. There we go. Let's use them all. And just like that, yes, my fatigue is at 358. Let's go! Charge down that enemy, and huzzah! We did it! 1 hit! Oh my goodness, it was genuinely a 1 punch! Mehrunes Dagon is dead. He's dead. He turned into like mushy Play-Doh. Oh yes! Huzzah! Oh, this is brilliant. Well, I don't know what's happened to him, but he has indeed appeared to have died, and we did it, ladies and gentlemen. What a glorious victory for Juan. So yeah, we've killed one of the gods of this game. I guess the next logical step is to see if we can kill the next god. Right, so I've done it. I've summoned Umaril, the final boss that this game ever really received, thanks to the DLC. Of course, Juan Punch is ready. Look at him. He is not scared of an evil, enslaving enemy of humanity. No, Juan Punch is ready. He is magnificent, and he will fight. Swing! Oh wow, that was pretty easy actually. Okay, he's dead. Anyway, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We have once again proven that Oblivion is indeed a perfectly balanced game with no exploits. I, for one, am quite excited to get an Oblivion remaster, either in the form of this latest release or maybe even from the Skyblivion team. So yes, if you want to see if I can find any new exploits in the upcoming Oblivion game, then make sure to subscribe and hop on down to the comment section and let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. As always, a huge thank you to our lovely YouTube members and channel patrons for making all of this all the more possible. Thank you very much, you majestic sausages. I'll see each and every one of you in the next one. Have a brilliant day, and goodbye for now.